This is Englophone. It's an alphabet designed especially for the English language. It has 33 letters, one for each sound, and is organized by letter type. First things first, why do I even think we need a new alphabet? Well, simply put, our modern Roman alphabet is a complete mess. It has three major failings, and those are that 1, it's totally disorganized. Letters are just thrown willy-nilly without any order to it. 2, it lacks necessary letters. There are several common sounds in the English language that don't have letters of their own. Instead, they're represented by 2 or more letters, and that can get messy quickly. And 3, it also has multiple unnecessary letters, like C or Q, that add basically nothing to the alphabet. My aim or mission statement with Englophone, this new alphabet, is to get rid of those issues in a way that is systematic and makes sense. I have also laid out 3 guidelines for this alphabet to help it more fully achieve its goal. Firstly, the alphabet must maintain a consistent Roman-style appearance. A good cautionary tale for this is the Shavian alphabet. In fact, the inspiration for this video was a video I saw on YouTube about the Shavian alphabet. To be fair, it was a great step in the right direction, but I think its fatal flaw, the one that kept it from catching on, was its visual unfamiliarity. When confronted with something new, people need to be able to draw some sort of association to things they already know, and the Shavian alphabet sadly lacked that in spades. Hence the need for this alphabet. 2. The new alphabet must be concise. An alphabet that has too many letters, like 60 or 70 for example, can quickly become daunting and discouraging to new learners. It needs to be simple and short enough that one can become acquainted with it quickly. And thirdly, it must have one symbol for every sound, phoneme. And conversely, one sound must be representable by one and only one symbol. Okay, now that we've set these guidelines out, we can start building the new alphabet. I'll use our modern Roman alphabet as a base to build off of in order to follow guideline 1. First things first, we should get rid of the unnecessary letters. There are 4 of them, and they are C, J, Q, and X. Let me explain. C violates guideline 3, since it can make a K sound or an S sound. Similarly, Q and X also violate guideline 3, since Q copies the K sound, and X can copy the KS, GZ, or KEsh sounds, depending on context. And lastly, J violates the same guideline because it actually makes 2 sounds, D, J, J. You just don't usually notice it because the sounds are so smushed together. This type of letter is called an affricate. This leaves only 22 letters. We should now sort them. I ended up starting the alphabet off with the 6 plosives, followed by the 9 fricatives, 2 glides, then 2 liquids, 3 nasals, and finished off with 11 vowels. I don't have any specific reasoning for the order I put the groups in, other than it just seemed right. Now, what are plosives? Plosives are sounds that, as their name may suggest, involve the buildup of air and then its sudden release. In English, we have 6 plosives. They come in 3 pairs of 1 voiced and 1 unvoiced letter each. For a sound to be voiced means that it involves a vibration of the vocal cords, and therefore it can be pronounced with a definite pitch. Unvoiced means the opposite. The 6 plosives are B, D, G, P, T, and K. As you can see, I have arranged the pairs vertically, with the voiced letter on top and the unvoiced at the bottom. As you progress to the right, the sounds move back towards the throat. And as you will see, each pair of plosives has at least 1 fricative corresponding to it. Fricatives are the next group of sounds. There are 9 of them, and they come in 4 pairs. The last one remains unpaired. They are V, Z, V, J, F, S, F, Sh, and H. Now, you'll notice that H is the only unpaired letter. The only explanation I can come up with for this is that, when I try to say H as voiced, it inevitably comes out as which is a vowel. To be fair, that's not really a very good explanation. In fact, I don't think it's really an explanation at all. Specious! So I'd be glad to see if someone else in the comments can come up with a better one. You'll also notice that each of the fricatives corresponds with a specific pair of plosives. That is to say, the sounds are made in the same part of the mouth. F and v correspond with b and p. S and z, sh and zh, and th and th all correspond with d and t. And lastly, h corresponds with g and k. By the way, something I've noticed that helps me remember the different groups of letters is that plosives starts with a P, which is itself a plosive. Fricatives starts with an F, which is itself a fricative. Liquids starts with an L, which is itself a liquid. And nasals starts with an N, which is itself a nasal. This pattern doesn't extend to glides or vowels, but it is still cool that it works for the other groups. There are only two glides, and they are w and y. They're basically like the vowels oo and e, respectively, but stressed like consonants. I had these incorrectly lumped together with the liquids in last year's video, but they are separate. Similarly to the glides, there are only two liquids, l and r. Something interesting about these sounds is that each comes in two distinct flavors, if you will, commonly called light and dark. The light type of each letter always comes right before a vowel. See words like light, lad, rocket, or red. On the other hand, the dark type of both letters comes immediately after a vowel, exemplified in words such as full, ball, bar, or fur. Essentially, the light type of either of these letters comes at the start of a syllable, and the dark type comes at the end. Knowing this can be helpful if you struggle with L's or R's, because then you can target practice your weaker type of that sound. Now, the nasals. There are three of them, and they are n, and ng. Like the fricatives, each of the nasals corresponds to one plosive pair. Corresponds with b and p. N corresponds with d and t, and ng corresponds with g and k. I don't have much else to say here, other than that we should add a letter for ing. Lastly, the vowels. Now, these were by far the hardest to figure out. The other groups of letters can be compared to a pie chart, where it's clear where the boundaries are drawn between colors. But the vowels are like a gradient. It's difficult to figure out where the main boundaries lie. That said, I've chosen to split this vowel gradient, if you will, into 11 distinct chunks. A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, and I've classified 5 of these as long, A, E, I, O, and U, and 6 of these as short, A, E, I, and I'm not exactly sure what made me classify them this way, other than the fact that the long vowels do seem a bit different than the short ones. Okay, now that we've gotten all 33 of these letters sorted out, I can show you some more examples of text in Englophone. I meant to do this in the last video, but I forgot to. So, without further ado, here are some more examples. So, there you go. That's Englophone. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Ah! It's a witch!